What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And oh my goodness, do we have some absolutely massive Toronto Maple Leafs news for you today. If you have been following the NHL free agency scene at all, if you have been keeping your eyes on what the Leafs are doing this offseason, then buckle up because this story is one that is going to send the Leafs nation absolutely wild. We are talking about Michael Bunting potentially coming back home to Toronto, and there is a lot to unpack here, so let's get right into it. Now, before we dive deep into this, I want you to hit that subscribe button right now if you are new to the channel, because we cover Toronto Maple Leafs news every single day, and on a day like today, you do not want to miss a single video. Also smash that like button because this one is absolutely going to be worth your time. Alright, now that we have got that out of the way, let's talk about Michael Bunting and what his return to Toronto could mean for this franchise. So for those of you who maybe are newer fans or just need a quick refresher, Michael Bunting is a guy who came to Toronto back in 2021 on a very low-cost deal, and what he did in that first season was nothing short of extraordinary. This guy came in as a complete afterthought, barely anyone was talking about him, and he went out and scored 63 points in his first year with the Maple Leafs. 63 points. As a guy who signed for almost nothing. He finished second in Calder Trophy voting that year, and he was absolutely electric alongside Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner on that top line. The chemistry those three had together was something special, something you do not see very often, and Leafs fans absolutely fell in love with Michael Bunting because of it. Now, his tenure in Toronto did not end perfectly. There were some moments where his play dipped, there were some controversies, and eventually the Leafs moved on from him. He ended up going to Carolina, then making his way to Pittsburgh, and his production was solid but never quite reached those Toronto heights again. But here is the thing about Michael Bunting that you simply cannot ignore. When this man is in the right system, when he is playing with the right line mates, when he has got that chip on his shoulder and something to prove, he is an absolute weapon. He is the kind of power forward who gets under your skin, who wins the battles along the boards, who crashes the net and creates chaos in front of the goalie, and who still has the offensive instincts to put up real numbers. And that brings us to right now, to this offseason, to what could be one of the most interesting reunions in recent Leafs history. There have been credible reports and strong indications from multiple sources close to the team that Toronto has genuine interest in bringing Michael Bunting back into the fold. Now, the reasons for this make a lot of sense when you think about it strategically. The Leafs have been searching for years now for that missing piece on the left side, that gritty, physical, offensively capable winger who can complement their star players and actually make life difficult for opposing defenses. Bunting fits that profile almost perfectly, and more importantly, he has already proven that he can do it at the highest level in a Toronto uniform. Now let's talk about the financial side of things because that is obviously going to be the key factor here. Michael Bunting is not going to come back to Toronto for nothing, but at the same time, he is not in a position where he can demand max contract money either. His recent seasons have been productive but not dominant, and the market for a player like him in this free agency period is likely going to land somewhere in the $2 to $3 million range annually. For the Maple Leafs, that is actually a manageable number. Brad Treliving has been working hard to create flexibility under the cap, and a short-term deal with Bunting at a reasonable cap hit could make an enormous amount of sense for a team that is looking to push deep into the playoffs. There is also the familiarity factor that people are really not talking about enough. When you sign a free agent from outside the organization, there is always a period of adjustment. You are learning a new system, you are building chemistry with new line mates, you are figuring out the culture and the expectations. Michael Bunting already knows all of that. He knows what it is like to play in Toronto, he knows the pressure, he knows the fan base, he knows the media attention, and most importantly, he knows how to play with Austin Matthews. That familiarity could allow him to step in from day one and actually contribute immediately rather than needing weeks or months to find his footing. Now, I want to be completely real with you guys because that is what this channel is all about. There are legitimate questions here. Can Bunting stay healthy over a full season? His injury history is something you have to consider. Can he recapture that elite level of play we saw in that first magical year in Toronto? Or was that simply a career outlier that we should not expect to see again? These are fair questions, and they are questions that Brad Treliving and the Leafs front office are absolutely asking themselves right now. But here is my take on it. Even a version of Michael Bunting that is playing at 80% of his peak is still a useful player for this team. Even a Bunting who gives you 45 to 50 points in a season, who wins those board battles, who kills penalties and creates havoc on the forecheck, that is still a really solid addition to a Toronto roster that needs exactly that kind of energy. And let's not forget the narrative element here. There is something genuinely powerful about a player coming back to the city where he had his best professional moments, where he played some of the best hockey of his career, where the fans actually loved watching him play. Michael Bunting playing for a team that wanted him again and a city that embraced him, that is a motivating factor. Athletes talk about it all the time. The hunger and the desire to go out and prove yourself in a place where you feel appreciated, that can elevate a player's game in ways that statistics simply cannot predict. The Leafs are at a crossroads right now. They have been so close to breaking through in the playoffs. And the question every single year is, what is this team missing to go from a first or second round exit to a legitimate Stanley Cup contender? The answer has never been Austin Matthews because he is one of the best players on the planet. The answer has never been Mitch Marner despite what some people like to say. The answer has always been depth, grit, and the ability to compete physically when the games get hard in April and May. Michael Bunting brings all of those things. He makes the Leafs harder to play against, he makes their top line even scarier, and he does it without breaking the bank. Now I want to hear from you guys in the comments below right now. Do you want Michael Bunting back in Toronto? Are you excited about this potential signing? Or do you think the Leafs should be looking elsewhere to fill their roster needs this offseason? Let me know your thoughts, your reactions, your hot takes. I read every single comment and I genuinely love engaging with you guys in the comment section. Look, at the end of the day, this story is still developing. Nothing is signed, nothing is official yet, and free agency moves at a pace that can change in hours. But the buzz is real, the interest appears to be genuine, and if this deal gets done, I genuinely believe it could be one of the smarter moves this organization has made in recent memory. A reunion between Michael Bunting and the Toronto Maple Leafs is not just a feel-good story. It is a strategically sound decision that could pay dividends when it matters most. We are going to keep tracking this story as it develops, and the moment anything goes official, you will hear about it right here first. So make sure you are subscribed, make sure you have got that notification bell turned on so you never miss a video, and make sure you share this video with every Leafs fan you know because this is exactly the kind of news that the whole fan base needs to be talking about right now. Thank you so much for watching, Leafs Nation. Let's go Toronto, and I will see you in the next one.